Jai Shri Ram. So today we will begin with Canto 75. What is the summary? Swearing that what had already come to pass in the shape of exile of Sri Ram, Sita and Lakshman and the resultant death of the king emperor was not to his liking, Bharat moves with Shatrughan to the apartments of his stepmother Kaushalya, who speaks unkindly to him, taunting him with the remark that his mother Kaikai had rendered good offices to him by securing for him the kingdom of Koshala sought after by him. Bharat, however, politely denies on a number of oaths all complicity in the mechanization of his vile mother, thereby coming to know of his heart the guileless Kaikai. Kaushalya places Bharat on her lap and weeps bitterly. So in this one, we are going to read about it. Now, the chapter. Regaining his consciousness after a long time, the said Bharat, who was full of valor, got up and casting a glance at his mother, who looked miserable at the unexpected turn of events, with her eyes full of tears, reproached her right and left in the midst of the ministers, who had evidently connected there on coming to know of Bharat's arrival, and said, I have never coveted the throne, nor did I ever hold any consultation with my mother, nor did I know anything about the installation of Sri Ram as Prince Regent, which was contemplated by the king, for I happened to be at that time in a distant land with Shatrughan, my brother. Nor again was I aware of the residence in the forest of the high-souled Sri Ram, nor how the exile of Lakshman and Sita came about. Recognizing the voice of the celebrated Bharat of noble mind, who was lamenting as aforesaid, Kaushalya spoke to Sumitra as follows. I think Bharat, the son of Kaikai of cruel deeds, has returned from his maternal grandfathers. I long to see the aforesaid Bharat, who takes a long-range view of things. Speaking as aforesaid to the said Sumitra, the pale-faced and emaciated lady, who looked absent-minded, advanced trembling to the place where Bharat was. Nay, accompanied by Shatrughan, the said Prince Bharat too, on the one side, proceeded that very moment along the route by which Kaushalya's apartments could be reached. Following Kaushalya, who was stricken with sorrow and had fallen unconscious on the way, the two afflicted brothers, Shatrughan and Bharat, hugged her. Embracing in return the two brothers who were weeping through agony, the noble and high-minded Kaushalya, who was sore distressed, addressed Bharat as follows. Enjoy this kingdom, devoid of enemies, obtained by you who coveted it. Alas, it has been promptly secured for you by Kaikai through a cruel deed in the shape of banishing Ram, Sita and Lakshman. What good did the cruel-eyed Kaikai expect by sending into exile, as she did, my son Ram as an ascetic clad in the bark of trees? Kaikai ought to send away soon me as well to the place where my exceptionally illustrious son and with a golden navel, a distinguishing mark of Lord Vishnu, is sojourning. Or, placing the sacrificial fire ahead and followed by Sumitra, I shall myself depart happily along the route by which Ram had proceeded to the forest. Or, you ought to personally take me now freely to the place where my aforesaid son, a veritable tiger among men, is practicing austerities. This extensive kingdom, overflowing with riches and food grains and fully equipped with elephants, horses and chariots, has actually been conferred to you by her, your mother. Bitterly reproached in many such cruel words, the sinless Bharat felt extremely pained as he would when pricked with a needle in the wound. Having lost his consciousness, his mind being utterly confused to hearing the taunting words of Kaushalya, Bharat presently regained his senses and, wailing in many ways, then fell at her feet. To Kaushalya, overwhelmed with griefs of many kinds and lamenting as aforesaid, Bharat then replied with folded hands as follows. Wherefore do you reproach me, O noble lady? Guileless as I am and do not know anything about it, Sri Ram's exile before I returned to Ayodhya, Nay, you know my great love borne towards Sri Ram, a sign of Raghu. Let his judgment never follow the scriptures as taught by his preceptor, with whose concurrence my elder brother, who is true to his promise and is the foremost of the virtuous, has gone into exile. Let him be with whose concurrence my elder brother has gone into exile, suffer the lot of a servant of men belonging to the lowest stratum of society, incur the sin of answering the calls of nature, facing the sun, and reap the consequences of kicking cows and lying asleep. Let him with whose concurrence my elder brother has gone into exile incur the sin that attaches to a master who robs his servant of his resources after getting him accomplish a great deed for him. Let the sin attaching to those bearing enmity to a king, protecting his subjects as his own offspring, be incurred by him with whose concurrence my elder brother has gone into exile. Let the sin that attaches to a king who fails to protect the people even after collecting the land revenue in the form of 1/6 of the produce be incurred by him with whose concurrence my elder brother has gone into exile. Let the sin attaching to those withholding payment of the sacrificial fee, even after promising it to the priests practicing austerities and officiating at a sacrifice, be incurred by him with whose concurrence my elder brother has gone into exile. Let the sin attaching to the man who fails to observe the code of warfare, followed by the virtuous on a field of battle crowded with elephants, horses, and chariots, and thick with weapons of all kinds, be incurred by him with whose concurrence my elder brother has gone into exile. Let that wicked soul with whose concurrence my elder brother has gone into exile forget the sacred lore, expounding the most esoteric truths taught with great pains by an enlightened preceptor. Let him with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the forest not live to see Sri Ram of muscular arms and shoulders and possessing the splendor of the moon and the sun installed on the throne. Let that merciless fellow with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods incur the sin of partaking milk boiled with rice and sugar, seasoned rice boiled with sesame seeds and moong, a kind of kidney bean, and goat milk in vain, without offering them in the first instance to the Almighty Lord, gods and mains, etc., and of showing disrespect to his elder brother by failing to rise on the arrival of and greet them. Let him with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the forest incur the sin of touching the body of cows with his feet, reviling his elders and bearing deep-rooted malice to a friend. Let that evil-minded fellow with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the forest incur the sin of revealing to someone else a fault of another confessed in private out of reliance that he will not divulge the secret before anyone. Let the fellow with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods never be in a position to return a service. Nay, let him prove ungrateful and shameless. Let him be shunned by good men and hated by all. Let the fellow with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods incur the sin of partaking of a savory dish alone at his own home, though surrounded by a number of sons, servants, and dependents. Let the fellow with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods die issueless, failing to secure a wife becoming of him in a point of pedigree, disposition, and so on, and in this way not enjoying the privilege of performing sacred duties like Agnihotra, etc., which can be performed only by married couple. Let the fellow with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods not behold the face of a male child through his wedded wife and die full of agony without attaining the full age of 100 years. Let him incur the same sin which is declared as attaching to the act of killing a ruler, woman, infant or aged man, and forsaking a dependent. Let him with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods always support his dependents through sale of lacquer, honey and flesh, iron and poison, which is prohibited in the Shastras. Let him with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods be killed while fleeing at a time when a battle inspiring terror into the adversaries had commenced. Let him with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods roam about like a madman, clad in tatters and begging alms, bowl in hand. Let him with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods be given over from day to day to wine as well as women and dice and overpowered by lust and anger. Let the man with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods indulge in unrighteousness and shower his wealth on the undeserving, and let his mind never take delight in piety. Let the possessions of every description accumulated in thousands of the fellow with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods be looted by robbers. Let that very sin which attaches to a man who sleeps during both the twilights be incurred by him with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods. Let him incur that very sin which attaches to the man who practices arson, to him who violates the bed of his teacher, and to the fellow who plays a friend foul. Let the fellow with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods, not having an opportunity to do service to gods in the form of Agnihotra, etc., and the mains in the form of periodical Shraddha, and likewise to his living parents. Let the man with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods forfeit this very day, nay, at once, his claim to the region inhabited by the virtuous after their death, forfeit his claim to the reputation enjoyed by good men, and fall from the codes of conduct followed by the righteous. Let the fellow with whose concurrence my elder brother, distinguished by long arms and a broad chest, has departed for the woods be devoted to the evil path, giving up service to his mother. Let him with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods be a pauper, though having many dependents to support. Let him be seized with ailment in the form of fever and suffer hardships continually. Let the man with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods falsify the hopes of destitute supplicants, uttering his praises and looking upwards in his face in expectancy. Let him with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods ever delight in deception, remaining a backbiter and impure and afraid of the king all his life, his mind being given to unrighteousness. Let the evil-minded fellow with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods ignore his chaste wife who has attained purity after menstruation and approaches him for union, the period being favorable for procreation. Let him with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods incur that very sin which attaches to a Brahman whose offspring have perished for the lack of nourishment. Let that man of sinful mind with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods interrupt the worship going to be offered to a Brahman by another and milk a cow which calved less than 10 days ago. Let the fool with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for woods enjoy another's wife, forsaking his lawful wife and having given up his love for piety. Let the fellow with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods incur all at once the sin that attaches to him who defiles the water of a well or tank, as well as that which attaches to one who administers poison. let the sin which a man disappointing a person oppressed with thirst by recourse to deception in the form of giving a false report, denying the presence of water, even though there is water with him, attached to him, with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods. Let him with whose concurrence my elder brother has departed for the woods be held guilty of the same sin which attaches to a man standing on the road and witnessing a dispute with partiality for one of the disputing parties. Even while reassuring as aforesaid Kaushalya, who was bereft both of her husband and son, the prince Bharat, they say, fell to the ground, stricken as he was with agony. Thereupon Kaushalya spoke as follows to Bharat, who was solemnly pleading his innocence by means of oaths that were hard to take and had become unconscious, sword-stricken as he was with grief. The present agony of mine, my son, is aggravated all the more inasmuch as you are choking my breath while solemnly pleading your innocence by means of oath. Luckily enough, your mind, endowed as it is with excellence, has not deviated from righteousness. Since you are true to your promise, you will attain the realms of the virtuous, my child. Saying so, and placing the mighty armed Bharat, who was so fond of his brother, on her lap, and embracing him, Kaushalya, who felt sore distressed, wept aloud. The mind of the high-souled Bharat, who was wailing as aforesaid, stricken as he was with sorrow, got agitated through infatuation and excess grief. While Bharat was lamenting thus and lay fallen unconscious on the ground, sighing again and again through grief, his power of judgment having been lost, the aforesaid night passed. Thus ends Canto 75 in the AYODHYAKAND of the glorious Ramayana of Valmiki, the work of a Rishi and the oldest epic. Jai Shri Ram.